never forget the first time I woke up to find Scootaloo sleeping alongside me. I opened my mouth to tell her that she's going to be late for school, but then I remembered that school was canceled. And that led to another thought. Some pony had mentioned that Scootaloo didn't even start attending Apple Bloom School until after they formed the Cutie Mark Crusaders. And I really don't like the whole thinking thing. Action is way more my style. But I wondered where Scootaloo went to school before meeting Apple Bloom. Cheerilee's school is the only one for foals that age in Ponyville. Otherwise, spoiled brats like Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon would have never attended. This was all making my brain hurt, and I decided to make breakfast for her.
Good morning, Rainbow Dash.
Good morning, Squirt.
Dash, thank you for letting me sleep here last night.
No prob. Scoots, listen. Apple Bloom, sweetie, they're hurting right now. Same with every pony in Ponyville. They might have their families, but that doesn't mean they don't need their friends too. I think you might be the only pony in Ponyville Discord didn't drive crazy or twist about. I cut myself off before I accidentally defeated my own argument. Somehow I suspected that any talk about Scootaloo being the only sane pony in town would have made her feel guiltier. That makes you one of the best ponies to help. Be there for them. Those fillies are gonna need a shoulder to cry on and someone to listen. Coming from me, of course Scoots hung on to every word, even if I didn't know how much she took to heart. She nodded and pressed herself against me like a puppy, and that made me stiffen. I had no clue what I was supposed to be feeling.
You got it, Rainbow Dash. I will. I really will. I promise.
She made a beeline for the door to embark on her divine mission. Then she meekly trotted back in and looked at me, blushing bright red under her coat.
Could you give me a ride down?
Friendship is here to stay. My little pony, you know we're still the very best friends.
Scoots didn't even try to hide how happy she was that I was giving her a Rainbow Dash exclusive ride. I could tell she wanted the ride to last longer than just a trip to the ground. And I managed to squeeze out one last drop of coaching before she scooted along. And Squirt.
Yeah, Rainbow Dash?
Tell them what happened. Tell them how you feel. I promise if they're really your friends, they'll forgive you.
I promise, Rainbow Dash. I promise.
She saluted and was off like a shot. That was roughly 3 weeks ago, and the Cutie Mark Crusaders are still together, so I guess things went good for her. I told myself I'd do the same, then I told myself I needed to figure out exactly what I was going to say. Then I told myself I had a bunch of things I needed to do first. Then I told myself I was too tired. Then I told myself everyone had bigger problems than mine, and I could wait on telling them while I helped them with theirs. Then I told myself I'd simply wait until everyone was busy. Before I could come up with another excuse, Applejack paid me a visit. She told me she knew that she'd known since her visit with Princess Celestia. Thought of the princess knowing terrified me. And I figured my just desserts were just about to be served.
The princess didn't even bat an eyelash. She forgives you. I forgive you. and I know everyone else will forgive you as well.
Right! So I only need 4 ponies together at the same time to spill my guts out. I honestly wondered if I tried to tell anyone in Cloudsdale whether they'd believe me, or even let me confess. After Discord, Equestria needs heroes to look up to. I know it. Cloudsdale knows it. Can't afford to get cut down to life size. And Scoots must have realized something was up, because she went and founded a fan club in my honor. Me. I always wanted one. I figured I'd have 5 by the time I was as old as I was now, and I'd already be a Wonderbolt. Of course, I provided some subtle nudging for Scoots once I caught wind of her brilliant idea. It felt good having one of my fantasies checkmarks finally fulfilled. Something nice to take away the bad memories. I felt like I was me again. And then things got even better. Suddenly ponies were getting themselves into life-threatening situations, left and right, and every time none other than your friendly neighborhood Rainbow Dash happened to be nearby to sweep in and save the day. And it's true that Discord's alterations to this town had been magically nullified. However, the ruin brought by the Parasprite incident last year cost Ponyville last year's, this year's, and all of next year's maintenance budget. All shoddy repair jobs were finally coming back to bite ponies in the rear. It was great! They called me a hero. Ponyville loved me as much as Cloudsdale, more so. Oh, sure. Right, the accidents themselves were bad, but I was there to save the day. And I didn't have to think about the black-gray squirming in the pit of my stomach at all. And then, when another chance for a hero came around, I took an itty-bitty amount of time signing autographs and getting my picture taken before going off to rescue the poor pony in the falling balloon. I had everything timed perfectly, I swear! And then this newcomer shows up and steals my rescue. It doesn't even stop to get any praise or nothing. Then I went bonkers and tried to make everything into a hero gig, and ponies were beginning to think I was just being an attention hog. And yeah, you know what happens next. Ambush, chasing, surprise of all surprises, all my friends were Mare-Do-Well.
Real heroes don't brag.
AJ had told me, lesson learned, don't act like Trixie and think you're the queen of the world. Letter to Celestia. I still don't know if Mare was in on the whole thing or not. Kinda weird, her arranging a parade for a pony who's always on the move, and Mare-Do-Well having that M on her outfit before the mare came up with her name. So we all headed back towards the parade. The plan was for Mare-Do-Well to gracefully bow out of Ponyville, having served her purpose. What? Did you think Pinkie Pie was going to walk out on a party? But then Pinkie reminded us of the lady whose potted plants had nearly fallen on her, that had seen me with 3 unmasked Mare-Do-Wells, and overheard the majority of our conversation. Twilight brushed it off, saying she probably thought we were cosplaying fangirls, or hadn't heard anything from the upstairs window. Twilight isn't always right, and gossip is one thing that can travel faster than me. Maybe. Ponies were confused and shocked that their hero was, in fact, multiple ponies. Thankfully, they didn't hold it against us at all. One filly said she wanted to be a superhero when she grew up. This is Ponyville, people. They freak out easy and get into all sorts of trouble. But they're all understanding at heart. Consider this. In any other town, Twilight Sparkle would have probably been lynched for making the Parasprite problem worse. We smiled, we laughed, and I got to share a place on the parade float with the Mare-Do-Wells. At one point I muttered about so much for making the history books.
Silly Philly, you're already in the history books, see?
And she took a book from nowhere. World records and sports stunts, and there I was, listed under the so-called impossible Sonic Rainbow. The first pony to do it in public not once, but twice. After everything had quieted down, however, I cornered AJ. She agreed to meet me later in private, meaning my place, behind locked doors and closed windows. Why, AJ? Why couldn't you just let me bask in the praise? The ponies wanted to cheer me on. Couldn't you have just let them have their hero? I was finally able to bury all the crud on my mind.
Things you bury tend to take root, Sugar Cube. We didn't do this to show you up.
Then why did you do it, pray tell?
We didn't mind you being a hero. We didn't mind you acting like, well, you, when ponies thanked you for saving the day. What we did mind was you treating these life-or-death calamities like a stunt show. Half the reasons we invented Mare-Do-Well was to save your butt. If Pinkie hadn't stepped in, how many of those construction workers do you think might have died? If Twilight hadn't repaired the dam and Ponyville got flooded, what do you think ponies would have thought of you? They'd have hated your guts! Luckily, they were too busy praising Mare-Do-Well to notice how your stupid ego was mucking up your own heroism. The other half was to get through your thick skull that being a hero... Look, we're beginning to treat the praise like it was more important than what you were being praised for.
I wouldn't have started grandstanding so much if Mare-Do-Well hadn't shown up in the first place.
Your tried and true friend who makes each day of my life just a little bit brighter, and it would be a dark day for all of us if you weren't here. But that's horse apples. You were timing things down to the last possible moment to sign more autographs instead of saving lives. Let me ask, when's the last time you saw a lifeguard at the beach posing for glamour shots? I'll admit most of us thought the Mare-Do-Well plan was over the top, but when you did what you did when the balloon fell, we all knew that we were in the right. Something had to be done before the law of averages caught up to your giant ego and got some pony killed. We did this to save you, not knock you down.
You could have talked to me.
We did. You didn't listen. Rainbow Dash, I'd sooner buck my own teeth out than to hurt your feelings. But you don't get excused for letting ponies linger in mortal peril for even a millisecond, just so you can brag that you're saving them. So please understand, we did this to help you. Also, stop hiding it. Please.
I silently flew AJ back to the ground level. I was surprised to find my fan club president waiting below my house when I got back. Squirt!
Hiya, Rainbow Dash! I didn't expect things to go crazy when I wanted you to join up with Mare-Do-Well at the parade.
Huh? What? Join?
That's the whole reason I wanted you there. I thought you and Mare-Do-Well could team up, like Super Stallion and Batmare. I guess you already were.
The runt of a Pegasus. That whole time she was still on my side. I managed to smile. Yeah, we are. So now I've fallen back on waiting for all my friends to be at the same place at once. Twilight says she has no idea how long she'd be gone. Days, maybe weeks. She was back the next day. But Pinkie Pie was still recovering from going 3 weeks with no sleep. I visited her at least twice a day to keep tabs. Fluttershy was there as well, always going over a bunch of photo albums for some reason. She also asked me a really weird question.
Rainbow Dash? Do you believe you can be tough, self-assured, and independent without being mean to others?
Like, duh. Of course you can, Fluttershy. Being mean means you're not sure of yourself. Means you don't think you're as tough as you want others to think you are. And you need others miserable to feel big. I'd say being mean means you're less those things. Fluttershy's body language changed. Her stance turning defensive. Rigid. For just long enough for the image to burn in my brain. Then her body softened.
Thank you, Rainbow Dash. That's something very important I think some pony needed to hear.
I was so weirded out by that. I made an excuse to leave, and I tried my best not to think about it. Anyway, finally, on the 4th day, Fluttershy was rapping on my front door like mad. I answered the door.
Pinkie Pie's awake!
Now I'm standing here waiting in Sugar Cube Corner. I finally had enough. Today was the day to get my stupid confession over with.
Hello, Rainbow Dash. Did you see Pinkie yet?
Mr. Cake says he doesn't want Pinkie to meet us one by one. He thinks it'd be better for her to meet us all 5 at once.
But having us all together might trigger another party. How does that make sense?
I'm standing 7 feet from you, you know. If you must know, I believe Honey just wants to spend as much time as possible with Pinkie first and doesn't want to keep getting interrupted by you coming in to see her one by one. No offense, but what Honey wants, I am not about to stand in the way of.
Fluttershy, it's okay. I kind of prefer it this way, too.
Alright, I understand. Hey, Rainbow? Isn't it much better to have friends who care and think about you than standing isolated by your lonesome?
Right.
So, Rainbow, What changed your mind about being a lone pony?
Well, I did have friends before, remember Gilda? And I did have you, Fluttershy. I guess I just couldn't stand seeing those jocks pick on someone who didn't even want to fight back.
And you showed how much you cared about me by deciding the pony whose honor you were racing for was more important than the race itself, and flew down to save me when I was plummeting from the sky.
Fluttershy, that was a long time ago. I know I was a boneheaded filly. How do you think I ended up best friends with Gilda? I know I didn't deserve your friendship back then, but I've grown. You have no idea how happy I was that you had accepted me as a friend. Then that weird, playful, almost sultry look left Fluttershy's eyes. She sat on her haunches and looked at me bright-eyed and happy.
It's okay, Rainbow. I never blamed you anyway. If anything, I should thank you. Even before I knew that bang that scared the animals was your sonic rain boom, that entire accident was the whole reason I realized my cutie mark. And I was happy that you got yours too. And even if I did blame you, you learned from your mistake and are sorry for it. That's all I can really ask from you this long after the fact. But Dashi, you didn't answer the question. It's okay if you don't want to. I understand. There are things I don't want to talk about either. But what else was it that made you want to be friends with others?
Feeling glad that Fluttershy wasn't, I don't know what, anymore. I spilled the beans faster than Pinkie Pie can eat a cake. I think it was Ponyville, and all the ponies are just so open. It's just nice seeing you here too. You just fit so well here. I think part of me wanted to fit that well too. Just like I wanted to fit in with the Wonderbolts.
Oh? Rainbow Dash wants to fit in? I thought you wanted to always be unique. Always stand out from the crowd. I thought you'd hate fitting in.
Again, Fluttershy's voice took on that sly tone and her body fell into that slightly liquid poise again. I do want to fit in with the Wonderbolts because they're everything I want from myself. And I meant it. Ponyville is just accepting, even for a Pegasus who's lazy but claims to be the best. Fluttershy smiled warmly. Her pose became dainty but dignified.
So, to summarize, it felt good to stand up for others? It felt good to think about someone other than yourself? Even if you're a little afraid of saying so?
Yes?
Thank you, Rainbow. I think I'll go help Pinkie Pie now. That was a very good lesson. And I'm very sorry if anything I said scared or upset you. Sometimes pulling out a thorn causes a little hurt, but it's better than letting it sit and fester, and you're better for it after. The actual cruel thing for somebody to do would be to let the infection worsen, rather than force it to the surface early on.
For less than a moment, I'd swear she was grinding her teeth before a triumphant smile flashed on her kind-hearted face.
I hope you don't think I'm bad for that.
Oh, no, it's okay. Smiling, Fluttershy fluttered up the stairs past Mr. Cake.
What was that about? I don't think I've ever seen that girl act that way before.
I wish I knew. A couple minutes later, Twilight, Applejack, and Rarity all showed up at exactly the same time. So, Fluttershy told you all too?
Actually, Spike did. We were checking on Twilight's patient when he came running in.
Howdy-ho! The pie with the pink has returned!
All of us turned at once to see Fluttershy helping Pinkie Pie down the stairs. The Cakes, of course, followed right behind them.
Hey guys! Great to see you all here! You know what this calls for? A party!
We all took in a breath. A split second before we could all dogpile her, she broke out giggling.
Kidding! I think I've kinda worn out the parties right now. Ponyville's ponies need more hugs than confetti.
Cue 7 pony jaws dropping at the same time. Pinkie Pie, the pony who needed a reason not to party more than a reason to party, calmly and meekly admitted she might have overdone the parties. Rarity did one of her stupid fake feints. Pinkie, are you feeling okay? Are you sick? Do you have a fever? Did a parasite infest your brain?
Yes, I am silly. I've never felt better. And no.
Pinkie? Are you sure you're fine? I mean, you don't want to throw a party?
Twilight, how boring would it be if you had a book that went on forever and you could never finish? Forever?
That is...
It's the same with parties. If a party went on forever, we could never go to the group hug at the end. And throwing a party for every last little thing, no matter how little, is no different than a party that lasted forever, right? Wait, I'm still getting used to my brain working this way. Ahem! Twilight, parties are supposed to be something special, right?
Generally, yes.
Okay, so, if I keep having parties for everything, then how are they special? They become part of a routine. They stop being something surprising and become expected. Throwing parties all the time for everything makes parties stop being special. And a party that isn't special loses what makes parties so much fun. A break from routine.
Pinkie hugged Rarity, AJ, and Twilight all at once.
It's wonderful! There are so many things I'm still trying to figure out. It's like there's a whole world around me I couldn't see before.
Pinkie Pie, your autism.
What do my taxes have to do with any of this?
Never mind.
Okay, sure, whatever. But guys, it's so great! It's like I've been let out of a cage I didn't know I was in! It's like I'm a me that's all of me!
Dearie, I know that you've been resting a long time, but I think you need to get your strength back before doing anything exciting. Maybe you should come back upstairs and lay down for a bit.
I think maybe going outside after being cooped up in her room for 3 days plus ought to do her good.
And I think there'll be plenty of time for that later.
And I think there's no time like the present.
Pinkie Pie shouldn't risk herself outside yet.
It's not like she's gonna go mountain climbing, right, dearie?
I really want to go out and see everything. It'll be like I'm seeing it all for the first time again. And I really want to spend more time with my friends. I promise I won't throw another party until I've gotten the kinks worked out.
Dear, it's not just that. You're acting a little strange and we're worried about you.
A little strange? Normally I act really strange, so I guess me acting a little more normal would be strange since those are all matters of perspective.
Pinkie, are you sure you're fine?
I feel like I've been sick for a long time, and I'm finally well. I promise, I'm still Pinkie. I'm just all of me now. I promise. Pinkie Pie still loves to prank, still loves to have fun, still loves to see others happy, still loves to party, and still loves her candy. And I still know how Equestria was made. You see, it all started with this little girl named Lauren Faust in the 80s.
Pinkie Pie, do you have any idea how this happened?
Oh, that's easy. While I was sleeping, Pinkie and Pinkamena had a long overdue talk. But Pinkie didn't want to talk to Pinkamena because it was Pinkamena's job to always be sad so Pinkie could always be happy. Their arguing caused another Pinkie to be born whose job it was to always be angry because Pinkie didn't want to feel angry at Discord or Pinkamena. This new angry Pinkie, however, wanted to eat up the rest of me, so Pinkie and Pinkamena had to finally kiss and make up to take her back. So I'm finally all of me.
Pinkie Pie, have you gone crazier?
Gals, what she's saying is the truth. All of it.
And how would you know?
No.
None of us were really sure how to counter what AJ said.
Pinkie Pie, as soon as you're feeling up to it, I want you to tell me every detail of what you remember about your experience. It might be able to help someone.
Okie dokie dokie!
I think we've all forgotten something very important.
Fluttershy had said suddenly. She hugged Pinkie Pie.
Meaning this. Pinkie, I'm so happy that you're well.
The Harmony Squad and the Cakes didn't even have to look at each other as they quickly followed Fluttershy's example. She was right. That was something important we had all forgotten. We all held that hug for over a minute, none of us wanting to say anything to ruin the moment. I didn't really get what was going on, but apparently Pinkie was back and better than ever.
Don't you all have something you need to say too, Sugar Cube?
Eh?
Isn't there something you've been meaning to say for a good long while now, but you haven't had the chance to?
This is Pinkie Pie's moment, so really...
Oh? You got something important to say, Dashie? I don't mind. Tell me. We're all friends here.
Really, Pinkie, I don't think...
Come on! Let's go for that good old-fashioned Rainbow Dash action. Tell us!
You have something on your mind, dear. There's no shame in sharing.
Now that it's been brought up, it would be rather awkward to go on like it never happened. It's alright, Rainbow Dash. Just let it out.
Okay, it's a little... private. Mr. and Mrs. Cake, I really hate to ask this, but can you please just... for a little bit? With no small amount of reluctance, the Cakes left for the next room.
Let it out, Sugar Cube. I promise they aren't going to hate you.
Guys, in the hedge maze, Discord showed me Cloudsdale crumbling. He said I could either go save it and abandon you, or let Cloudsdale fall apart and stay with you.
We know, dear, and it's clear you were under the Discord's geas. The same as all of us. Otherwise you'd have remembered the Pegasi can fly and had little to fear.
And the Pegasi in the hospital with broken wings? Or the foals that are too young to fly? Rarity was silenced instantly.
Well, it was all a lie anyway. And Discord warped your thinking, the same as all of us. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, Dash.
That's not the whole truth, though.
What?
I got to Cloudsdale. Discord congratulated me on getting there. Then he told everyone right away that I stabbed Equestria in the back to save them. They all hated me. The Discord made them all insane, as everyone in Ponyville while I stood there begging him to stop. Me, Rainbow Dash, begging. And I saw and heard you guys when I left the maze. I knew what would happen. I figured we'd win anyway, like we always do. After Discord left Cloudsdale, I tried to find you guys, and I saw you were all already nuts as everyone else. So I just flew away again. I ran away! When I spotted you guys were yourselves again, I played a part! Guys, I faked being delusional. I got the idea from Rarity's big rock. I didn't want you all to hate me. You guys are the best friends I've ever had. I didn't want to lose that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry.
You're saying that you delayed the world being saved, Discord being sealed, dragged me and Pinky across the sky, forced us to hold you down like a mad pony, and it was all an act? I never! How could you? Didn't you trust us? Didn't you believe in us? Didn't you know that we all went through the same thing? Discord hurt us all, Rainbow. Have you looked around Ponyville lately, or do you think you're the only one? Rarity, I'm the element of honesty, and I forgave her already. You knew? I knew about it since I visited Celestia, and I've already forgiven her, so how about doing the generous thing, element of generosity, and forgiving her too? That's not a dog whistle you can use to get me to roll over whenever you want.
Rarity then back-hoofed me. It hurt, but not nearly as much as it should have. She was holding back.
That wasn't for what you did while brainwashed by Discord. That was for keeping this a secret for so long. Now will you stop this feeling guilty over something that wasn't your fault?
That's just it. I lost my connection to my element until Twilight's spell made me relive all the times I have been true to you guys. Betrayal isn't betrayal unless it's your own choice, right? That means no matter what Discord did to me, it must have been my choice.
Will you stop being so arrogant as to actually believe yourself immune to Discord's taint?
That's just it. I think about it. Yeah, I know. Duh, thinking. Not easy for me. Go ahead and joke. I go over the scenario again and again. Taint or no taint. I'd have to either betray you guys, Equestria and the princess, or betray my family, my home, and my people.
But if there's nothing you could have done differently, then why are you beating yourself up over it?
Because we're the good guys. We're supposed to always win, no matter what. Without having to make any sacrifices, that's what we do.
No, Rainbow. That's what them heroes in the movies do. Ponies like us, we make the hard choices so no pony else has to.
But I'm loyalty, guys. Or I'm supposed to be.
You're also a frickin' flesh and blood mare! I told you before, with Discord, you would have wound up holding the short end of the stick no matter what choice you made.
But then what about next time? Or the time after that? Or the time after that? I couldn't have done differently than any other pony? Then what made the element choose me? Or was my name just pulled from a hat? My head hurt, my mouth was dry, my wings were rigid. The world was blurry. I wish I had never won that Best Young Flyer award. At least then I wouldn't have cared so much about saving Cloudsdale in particular. And poor Kilda. It was easy to ditch her for you guys after I saw what a jackass with feathers she was. Worse than I used to be. What's the point of being loyal to others if you're ultimately gonna have to end up betraying the other? You're the brains, Twilight. Tell me,
There are no easy answers, Rainbow. That's called life. No matter how hard I plan, something I didn't think of can go wrong.
But what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I going to do? If no matter what happens, I must betray someone, how can I say I'm loyal to anyone?
Rainbow, you're thinking in circles. Rainbow, your colors.
I didn't care what Fluttershy meant. I didn't care what any of them meant. I wanted an answer. Any answer, just tell me something I can hold on to, damn it. What good are you? And what good am I? If any pony couldn't have done it better in Discord's trap, then why should I be loyalty at all? I felt like my insides were on fire, followed by the freezing burning sensation of dry ice. The world's color began to darken. Everything I saw twisted about. Look at you all of you. A brainiac who's as good as a daughter to our goddess until she ditched her to hang out with her friends. An earth pony who embodies honesty except when it's inconvenient, who betrayed her pride when her body betrayed her. A pink party animal who abandoned her real family and betrayed who she had been for who she is now. A white marshmallow who likes to pretend her parents don't exist and betrayed her business sense for her element. And a yellow flower who doesn't give a damn about Cloudsdale and is willing to betray who she was if it meant helping me along.
Some of those things, well, none of us are without fault. But I, for one, am proud Applejack would betray her pride when her body betrayed her. She'd have worked herself to death otherwise, and she ended up a better person for it. Choices must be made. And you can't simply breeze through life without ever changing anything about yourself. That would just mean spiritual stagnation.
Yeah? Do you know what else it means? There is no loyalty without betrayal. The world turned to shades of gray, then tinted red, and I let out a sound that wasn't quite like that of a pony. I saw out of the corner of my eye. My wings blackened and turned larger while twisting about, like black smoke. I barely noticed in a reflective surface that my eyes had lost their centers, becoming blank white, as my teeth sharpened themselves into vicious fangs.
Is she like you?
Fluttershy asked herself. Then her eyes narrowed.
No, this isn't from the old man. I can smell it. It's coming from her, Rainbow Dash herself.
I had no clue what she was babbling about, and no one tried asking her what she meant. Everyone's attention was on me. Well, that's what I've always wanted, right? I snarled again and dive-bombed at Twilight Sparkle. I'd shut her up for good. Her and all her useless answers. What did she know about me? What did anyone know about me? Since when did anyone understand me? Stupid unicorn cheated and teleported out of my way. AG ran me from the side and sent me spinning in the air, knocking over a table.
Sugar Cube, stop! You're burying yourself!
Since when are you a know-it-all? I howled and flew a tight circle around her, ramming into her from behind, knocking her to her knees.
Is this why I felt differently when I used the memory spell on her?
Twilight asked aloud. Like I cared? Like I cared what anyone thought of me. I was me. Myself. A solitary ego, more badass than all these lamers put together. I'd make them see what loyalty was.
Rainbow, just stop!
Rarity shouted as cloth drapes from around the room tried to tie me down. Not this time! I spun around, pulling them from Rarity's control.
Just let it go, Dashy!
Weren't any of them going to take this fight seriously?
Fine, we'll do it your way.
She said, not talking to me. She leapt right at me, but folded her wings at the last moment, turning to what I thought would be a headbutt into a tackle, hurling herself at my rear legs.
But on my turn!
I tried to kick her away, but her grip was like a vice. Like a dragon earth pony and a unicorn along through the air. Then what was another Pegasus? Wait, where was...
Surprise!
In the blink of an eye, Pinky was right behind me, and she hugged me. Then Fluttershy snarled at me.
If you had chosen to not keep wandering the maze, or go save your little homestead, the old man would have said he'd quit anyway, ended the game right then and there, and said you'd betrayed both, genius.
Was that really Fluttershy who said that? Confusion shook me, and I noticed that there was no force behind Pinky's hug. It was gentle or comforting, but I fluttered down. The colors of the world began to right themselves, though a mist of gray remained. I looked at myself in Sugar Cube Corner's well-polished floor. I saw a gray-tinted rainbow-colored Pegasus who just wanted to know what she was supposed to do. Who just wanted to understand what she was meant to do. No monster. No creature of darkness. Had it even been real?
Now you just listen to Auntie Pinkie Pie. I'm going to tell you a bedtime story, and I want you to listen really good. Understand?
I nodded numbly.
Once upon a time, there was a donkey in a barn with 2 piles of hay. The donkey was the same distance from both piles, and the 2 piles were exactly the same size. They tasted just as good and were, in all ways, equally nice. The donkey was hungry and wanted to eat them, except he couldn't decide which one to start with, because they were exactly the same. So, the donkey tried to figure out which one to eat first, but couldn't settle on an answer. Unable to choose between them, the donkey starved.
That's depressing. And stupid.
I know! The donkey never realized that by not making the decision of which pile of hay to eat first, he failed to make the choice to eat at all. In other words, he chose to starve. By not making a choice, you're still making a choice not to make it. And not making a choice cost the donkey. The donkey was too stubborn and proud to realize that on his own. And what a silly donkey it was, wasn't it?
For the first time in my life, I no longer felt ashamed to cry. What a stupid, stubborn jackass! I hugged Pinkie with tears in my eyes, and I laughed. Pinkie Pie began laughing too, followed by Fluttershy. Rarity and Twilight just politely chuckled while AJ snickered.
Rainbow, as long as you're loyal to more than one thing, there will be conflict, and there will be times when you're forced to choose between things you love equally. But that doesn't make them any less important.
And Dashi, ponies who weren't loyal at heart would never feel bad about having to betray one pony to save another.
The fact you both do and don't want the same thing to happen again proves you are loyalty.
Is that really Pinkie Pie? Are you really Rarity? What is that supposed to mean? Just saying. You think Pinkie's the only one who's changed? Miss giving free sewing lessons to spoiled fillies who don't have a mom? How did you? Does it actually matter? The point is, Sugar Cube, we've all been changing. We just saw it happen to Pinkie all at once.
We spent an hour or two just talking about this and that. Just talking. We told jokes. We chatted about little nothings. We gossiped about ponies who were recovering along with us. We felt happy about those who were proving stronger than Discord scars, and lousy for those who were still struggling. The cakes didn't say a word about my episode. No way they didn't overhear it. I don't know if they mentally blocked it out or were just being polite. I actually asked for some paper and a pencil. I don't write all that often, and my friends were initially shocked by who I was writing to. But it needed to be done. Gilda, if you're ever willing to accept my other friends, I know that we can still be friends too. We had plenty of good times, and I want to think they meant something to you like they do to me. I'm waiting for an answer. Rainbow Dash.
You should have included and accept every other pony in Ponyville.
Baby steps, Rarity. Baby steps.
Fluttershy cooed, showing a weird hint of vanity as she glanced in the mirror. So yeah, I finally forgave myself. Big whoop. I should have done this way back with Scootaloo. I'm not the world's most clever Pegasus. Yeah, I finally get the irony. Don't rub it in. Scootaloo's saying how she's a runaway and always... I wonder where her parents are. Hold on. Hey, Rarity, Applejack. You ever met Scootaloo's parents?
Not really. Scootaloo just comes over to our place. She never talks about them. Now that you mention it, I've never met them either. She gave me a note from them once, agreeing to let Scootaloo sleep over at my house for a slumber party, but I can't say that I've met them face to face.
I hugged each of them in turn and zoomed out. Classes were still on again, off again, with the teachers needing as much professional help as the kids, but I managed to track down Miss Cheerilee.
Well, no, I've never met Scootaloo's parents. They were both dreadfully sick on parent-teachers' night, so we had to communicate through correspondence. They're usually out of town.
What about when Scootaloo was enrolled?
She just provided a letter from her father about her beginning attendance. Why? Is something wrong?
No, nothing. Thanks a million. Gotta fly. I had a good idea where I'd find her. Sure enough, she was in the Cutie Mark Crusaders clubhouse, even though her fellow Crusaders were nowhere to be found. Hey, Squirt.
Dash!
She fluttered her tiny wings and hugged me. Hey, kiddo. You wanna help me with a prank at my place?
Absolutely, Rainbow Dash!
Scootaloo had just enough self-control not to fall off as I flew her to my place.
So, what do you need me to do?
Oh, just help me write some fake letters to some of my friends. Think you can handle something like that?
Sure, I'll give it a try.
I led her to a table and took out some letters from friends. I gave her some blank paper and a pencil. Okay, let's see how good you are. First, think you can copy Fluttershy's mouth writing?
You bet!
Scootaloo didn't even hesitate. Carefully examining Fluttershy's mouth writing, she was able to replicate it down to the little quiver she made for her Y's. Okay, now do Applejack's. She was able to copy it even easier than Fluttershy's. Okay, now try this. It's Twilight Sparkle's horn magic writing. Let's see how you handle that. Scootaloo looked daunted, but determined. With all the precision and care of a safecracker, she slowly duplicated Twilight's elegant penmanship. Okay, now even I was impressed. Okay, think fast, show me your dad's writing. Scootaloo responded automatically, writing in completely different style than she normally used. That's great, you must have lots of practice at this.
Yeah, lots. When Apple Bloom began asking why I wasn't in school, and
she caught herself. Too late. Got her. How long have you been living without a family, Pipsqueak? Scootaloo looked cornered. She tried to leave, but I blocked off her exit. The filly lowered her head.
Since before I met Sweetie, they said they were going out for something, told me to wait right where I was. They said for me not to feel bad about accepting anything nice people gave me, but to be careful about going with them. I kept waiting, and then I ran away from that spot.
Who else knows?
Nobody.
Let me guess, you sleep at the clubhouse, right?
Beats sleeping under Luna's stars.
You know there are adults who wouldn't be happy about leaving a little filly on her own.
I know, but I don't want to be put in the care of some ponies I don't even know, or even be taken back to Cloudsdale. I want to be with you, with Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle.
I just looked at her. Then I went to my spare room I used to store my junk and began to toss stuff out onto the hallway.
Dash?
I didn't answer her. I just kept throwing my junk out until there was enough space to trot around in, and began to remold the clouds into something that resembled a mattress. The Squirt even looked more unsure. Maybe a little scared. Finally, I said, "A secret shared is a secret kept, Scoots. If anyone asks, your parents are letting you live with me as my apprentice. Got it?" That's just what you're going to tell them. Got it?
Got it.
Now come on, let's get your junk moved in from the clubhouse to here. I'm sure your friends will enjoy the extra room.
Right.
So how did things go when you told your friends?
You
did tell them, right?
I told them right after I left you. First Apple Bloom and then Sweetie. Miss Rarity Belle wasn't happy about the interruption.
Rarity's surname was Belle? Okay, made sense. Moving on. You're a lot braver than me, kiddo. A whole lot braver.
Braver than you? That's impossible.
You'd be surprised, kiddo. So tell me what happened.
They said there was nothing to be angry about. They figured that at least I might have run into some help. They said they weren't mad or anything.
See, kiddo, nothing to worry about. The longer you keep things bottled up, the worse they get.
Right, Rainbow Dash. You're the smartest pony ever.
I hug her. She hugs back. You know, right about now it hits me what I've done. I've taken on a responsibility for a filly that before I only considered an ego booster at best and an annoyance at the worst. I'm pretty sure I just trapped myself. But you know what? If this is being trapped, then being trapped is how I'm finally free.
for everything makes parties stop being special. And a party that isn't special loses what makes parties so much fun. A break from routine. Tell that to Paris Hilton. Oh my God. Endless partying and you end up in rehab. Wonderful!
Pinkie Pie, your autism.
Autism, what?